She was very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated me. I appreciate the fact that she was so authentic and very personable, and it really made me feel like I relate to her story. What I aspire to be? Just the best version of myself.
You are listening to Unleash the Podcast, revolutionizing the way women grow, work, live, and lead. Engaging interviews, insightful book reviews, and timeless gems to aid the modern woman in excelling personally and professionally. Hosted by the multi-passionate Tabitha D. James, Unleash the Podcast not only empowers listeners, but also equips them with applicable action-based resources for daily life. Hey friends, and welcome to yet another Unleash replay. If you are listening to this in real time, I want you to hit pause if you think you'll come back. If you don't think you'll come back, do this later. I want you to visit the link in the show notes and get your ticket. Get it. We look forward to seeing you at the Unleash experience. Several of the voices that you've heard on these replays are going to be joining us there with insight, with resources. It's just going to be a whole magical experience, and I want you and your business to benefit from it. So if you're ready to move from motivation to action, join us. All right, enough of that. Go get that. Either pause and do it now or do it afterwards if you don't think you'll come back. Let's get into this week's replay with Miss Sabrina Nicole of Awkward Confidence. I am super excited for you all to hear this chat. Sabrina gives it to us. We have had some really raw and transparent episodes lately, and I'm super grateful for that. People are sharing insight from their journeys, the humps, the bumps, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty. And that's what it's about, getting to see that full picture. So I'm super duper pumped, and I'm going to stop rambling and let y'all get into this replay. Right. Until next time.
We're going to get straight to the chase. Tell us about yourself, your background, how we get here, what we do. Tell us all the things.
Yes. Happy Tuesday, everybody. My name is Sabrina. I go by Sabrina Nicole. I am a South Carolina native from a little tiny town in Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina. Population about 5,000. We're really small. I went to Coastal Carolina. What's up, CCU? And I am a creative by nature. I have always been into the creative elements, whether it's with words or music or painting or crafting or any collaboration, just limitless creativity. So I am recently known for paintings and paint parties and paint kits and collaborative efforts with different groups. More recently, it's been a lot of mentor groups for young girls where I come in and collaborate with them with a creative component, but also a message in regards to things that they may endure in life or just the transformation process of life, period. So I am honored to be here with you today. I was really excited when you reached out because I was like, man, I have not been present on social media in a long time now. I took a little hiatus, but I've been working on some things. But I am proud to be back and proud to be, back out here making some creative moves.
Yes, shout out. Well, I'm glad I get to be the one that brings you back out, right? Like, I'm super excited for that opportunity. So you said that you were, a creative just by nature, like it's in your DNA at this point.
Hey, baby.
So what made you get started with what is now the Soul Summit and Awkward Confidence and the things that you're putting out into the atmosphere? What made you say, you know what? I can do something with this. How'd you come up with that?
Okay, so basically turning pain into a message, right? So a couple of years ago, I relocated to Jacksonville, Florida. I was going through a lot of things personally that I thought I could just run from. Just, I'm just going to relocate and it'll just all be over. It don't work that way, y'all. Do the work.
Do the work.
It doesn't work that way. So I got to a point where I didn't really know how to express myself verbally. So I would literally just cause myself internal combustion over and over and over again, with panic attacks. And I had like struggles with anxiety and stuff, because I was going through a lot at the time. I had just relocated. And then right after I got settled, had my apartment, had my car, everything. And then my company that I was working for had budget cuts. So I found out on a Wednesday that the next Monday was going to be my last day. So like I said, have always been a crafter, creative by nature. So I'm like, I have all of these things, like all these paints and canvases and other creative elements, just sitting around the house. So I'm like, let me just do something with this. So that Monday, I believe it ended up being like the 1st of March or so. And I sat down and I painted, I remember vividly, on the 12 by 12. It was a gold background, black ballerina. Sis was decked out with all of her pearl embellishments and everything. And and I showed it to my friend, and she was like, this is really nice. And I was like, girl, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just bored. Like, I'm used to always being at work and, having something to do. So I'm just doing it to have something to do. But being the good friend she is, she posted it on my behalf, and it just blew up. From there, within 2 weeks, I made more than I had ever made on any job that I had worked for. Didn't know what I was doing, no business sense. I'm just creating. So it got to a point where it was going good, but then I still, I said, when you try to run from stuff, dealing with anxiety and depression from not knowing, because I used to be one of those people where if I planned it ABC, I'm gonna need it to be ABC. But I've learned that life does not work that way. And when you accept it and just kind of roll with it, you fare out much better. But it got to a point where I just, I quit creating for other people, but I kept doing it for myself, because I found that in creating, I was actually expressing how I felt about different things. And then one day I got the courage to actually explain what one of them meant. And I was very transparent about battling with abusing pain medication, transparent about abusing different anxiety medicines on top of other recreational drugs and on top of a lot of alcohol. I became very malnourished, just not in a good place. So I created a piece around that, and I allowed that piece to give me the awkward confidence because I was not bold going into it, to be able to be like, what, I'm gonna just tell the people, this what's been going on. I was not confident about that. It was like an awkwardness that came with it, but because of that little piece, that little smidge of confidence I had to be able to get out there and say, what, just tell your story. What's the worst that can happen? And going to therapy, I put myself in therapy and learned how to actually communicate with people, how to relay how I felt. I felt so empowered from just being able to release that. I didn't feel restrained, or I didn't feel like it had a hold on me anymore. And in sharing my story, I realized that, people were more willing to open up and talk back to me to share their story. And then we created like a circle of healing, because I said something that made sense for them. They said something that hit home for me. And that's how you create the cycle of healing. You have to be transparent. There is power in transparency. So everybody knows the Meraki Way was my hobby hustling baby for a very long time. But I have wanted for a very long time to expand past being just a typical canvas artist, because there's a lot I'm capable of, and there's a lot that I want to do. So here we have Awkward Confidence. and that is my creative camp. There is a lot that's going to roll out with it, a lot of collaborations. The art will still be there, but in a totally different dynamic. So I'm really excited about that part of the journey. And the Soul Summit basically kind of came about the same way, but I wanted to create something specifically for women to be able to come together and just have a platform to say, hey, this is my story. This is what I've gone through. This is how I made it out of whatever struggle I was going through, in hopes that it, again, creates that cycle of healing, positivity, and just a push for somebody to be like, it's okay to be transparent. So a whole lot.
A whole lot. And so I just want to dive a little bit into, but before I do that, I want to say hats off for the transparency. I did not know you were going to come and tell the people the goodies, okay? So I appreciate that, because that's major, right? That inner work part and getting yourself together matters more than, half the other stuff, right? Or all the other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, you can be hurt and successful and not be able to capitalize on it because you're not okay.
Exactly.
And when you're not okay, none of that matters, right? You're not thinking about how, you were able to make more money than you did. You're not thinking about how creative you are. You're not thinking about all the things that you can create. You're thinking about, right now, I'm a horrible human, and there's so many things going on in my head, right?
Right.
And the mind takes over the capabilities. So shout out to you for the transparency, okay? And the next thing I want to say is shout out to you for not being afraid to step into the next level of excellence with Awkward Confidence.
Right.
So
right.
That's out to that. It's like, I am no longer a creative hustler. I'm about to build a whole thing here. Okay. This is about to be a change. So if you could, get into the tiny tab little time machine and tell yourself anything 6 months ago, what would it be?
6 months ago, I would have told myself obedience over perfection. Ooh. Because I have a tendency to be a perfectionist. And what happens is, when you are so hung up on the idea of something being perfect, you tend to put more time into being a perfectionist, and that turns into procrastination. Because something that was really good enough 3 months ago could have, it could have taken you to where it would have been what you wanted to be had you just been obedient and just did it, So that's something over the past year that I've really tried to break myself out of. But I still pride myself on being one of those people. I want to make sure, when I put something out, it's of good quality, good content. So I'm not going to rush it, but there's a fine line between procrastination and preparation. You can prepare for months and months and months and months, but if you're preparing and you never do anything with it, you are essentially procrastinating. You're sitting on your gifts. So you're hurting yourself in hindsight. So I've learned to show up, do the work, but be obedient when you know it's time to put into action. Ooh. You don't have to be He didn't ask us to be a perfectionist. He asked us to be obedient. He asked us to be obedient. So in doing that, it's funny you mentioned, you kind of took a small hiatus, like right when COVID hit. My hiatus probably came about 5 weeks ago. I was still full-fledged whenever COVID hit. I made it like an immediate transition to like, well, I guess we're going online. Let me figure this Zoom thing out. We zooming and painting. But it got to a point where it was like, I need to slow down and actually work on what it is that I know within my heart that I want to birth and that I want to see come to life. And when I actually slowed down, I think the fear of slowing down was, what about my income? Or, just all these what if factors, the anxiety started taking over. But that's when you really have to be obedient, because like you're going to be okay, but you need to take a moment to slow down and prepare for what is coming for you. Yeah. And it's coming full fledged, full force. And it's coming fast. Like, even with me not being present on social media, it hasn't slowed down. Like, I'm consistently, and I know I have been posting, and when I do, I'll catch up with all the virtual parties and setups and custom projects that I've done, because I've been working. But I really needed to just slow down for a second to actually be obedient to what it is I know I was supposed to be doing. I didn't have the tendency to do that in the past. So the fact that I'm able to do it now, and I have an appreciation for what true patience is, having discernment to really listen and be in tune with yourself, to know when it's like, okay, this is the season for preparation, but all right, sis, this is the season for obedience. Like, let's go. It just goes back to making sure you're doing that internal work, because that's where you get a lot of your answers and your confirmations, when you're still. So in a way, I'm thankful for it too, because it really set me down. I'm a busybody. I stay on the go, as you see, a mobile office in the day.
Mobile office.
Right. But it slowed me down to give me new perspective. So yeah, 6 months ago, obedience over perfection.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's that's good there, y'all. Ooh, I could just cut this off, because we that was it right there. But she said it all. I don't have no recap. Y'all heard it. Obedience is better than perfection. And obedience is what he's looking for all my believers. Like, don't let the trends fool you. Okay. Obedience is the answer. Okay. Lord, I gotta get myself together for the next question. Okay, cool. So we're gonna switch gears, because I gotta get my life together. What are the hot services right now? So you said it, you took a break from the socials and the sharing, but let us know what has been going on. You spoke earlier about a lot of group work you've been doing, but talk to us. What are the hot services and products and all that? Like, what's popping right now in your world?
My creative world. So right now, I am in the process of scheduling out some virtual paint parties. The first one I'm aiming for August. It's going to be a teacher's edition, because the kids are kind of, sort of, maybe going back to school. It's kind of up in the air. I feel for all of my teachers, my folks that are in the school system. So I really want to do something special for the teachers. So I'm probably going to have, I am. I'll come back to you guys with the date. But we're going to have like a special virtual event just for teachers. Or if you are a parent and maybe want to create a canvas for your kids' teacher to gift them, to say thank you for everything that you're doing. Because as we know, COVID has kind of made things in the educational world a little crazy. Paint kits, I'm going to start highlighting a feature paint kit, 1 feature per month, but there I am rolling out literally a catalog of pre-sketch canvases. If you feel like you're above the pre-sketch and you want to schedule a Zoom session so you can start from blank canvas, that'll be available as well. If you are looking to host a virtual Zoom party of your own, I am open for that. If you are wanting a paint party in your home, I'll come and do the setup for you. You guys have a great time. I'll come back, do the breakdown just to make sure everything is good with social distancing. If y'all want to gather, that's cool, but I'm gonna come set y'all up, let y'all do you. If you want me to pop in to help on Zoom from elsewhere, that is fine. So a lot of the same stuff, but just on a bigger scale. I have a lot of home merchandise coming. We have some coasters, pillow covers. We have some totes for our teachers, or I'm a bag person, so some customized totes, some customized clutches, like it's a lot. But the hot items right now, because I feel like I expended on a whole lot, are the paint kits. So you can purchase a whole kit, or if you already have your supplies, if you are a at-home Picasso and you already have your paint and your brushes, you can just order the canvas if need be. So there will be announcements August 1st. Y'all stay tuned. The website will be dropping, the store will be opening so that y'all can just pop in at your leisure, check it out. And I do want to, so there's so the Soul Summit had a baby, and it's called Brown Girls Bloom. And what I want to do platform is I want to work with different mentor groups for girls, because that's something I didn't really have growing up. I had Girl Scouts, but that wasn't it for me. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I've attended some events that Sierra Young has had, some events that Sharquisha McGriff has had for their dealings with young girls and stuff. And I love the way that they are so transparent with them. So I definitely want to collaborate with other groups. It doesn't matter where you are. We can make it virtual. I don't mind driving. If you're in the PD, if you are upstate, if you're in the Central Midlands or whatever, I just really want to collaborate with the younger brown girls, because I didn't have that growing up. And just looking back, I feel like I would have definitely appreciated that as a kid in hindsight.
Yes. Well, you excuse me once we're a little further down, so we might have to have you virtual, but
Doesn't matter.
we're not meeting in person all year long, so
yeah, that's how it's bit of them. Most of them have been virtual, so a lot of the in-person stuff I'm kind of holding out until next year, which is fine because it gives me plenty of time to plan out some things. But I do want to kind of reach out and be more hands-on with the mentor groups that already exist, and I don't know, maybe create a collaborative effort to just bridge them all together. Like, you know, maybe do like one big Zoom something. So
I love that. You know that you're gonna get me off topic. You start. I'm gonna just not go there, because we would definitely get off topic, and I will go into a pigeonhole. Let the people know how they can contact you. You said August 1st when the website drops.
Website drops August the 1st. It is www.sabrinanicole.com. So that website will be fully fledged and ready on August the 1st. On Facebook, you can find me at Awkward Confidence. Also, the Soul Summit is on Facebook. The Soul Summit is also on Instagram. It's the.soul.summit. And Awkward Confidence is also on Instagram as well. It's awkward minus the second W. I had a little typo. But you know, Instagram will only let you change it so many times every like 2 weeks or so. So I will have the correct spelling soon. But it is Awkward Confidence minus the second W on Instagram for right now.
I realized that was missing.
I was like, no. But I was like, it's all right. Hey,
It's so funny that is missing. Wow. Well, I want to thank you, number one, for your transparency. Thank you for being willing to share the not so cute, right, parts of the story, the not so bloomified starts of the story. And I say starts of the story because I think each of those started something else in your life and started some leaf that you had to turn over to be able to be the person that we had here today. So I just overjoyed. You all joining us on Facebook. You're going to get this mushy moment that we're having right now because this was really good, and this is what owners need to hear, right? You got to do the self-work. You can't put off the self-work.
No, ma'am.
You got to do it.
And the off moments is where the growth happens. You know what I'm saying? It's where the growth happens. So embrace the awkwardness.
Yeah, embrace the awkwardness, embrace the challenges, embrace the changes, embrace the questions that people will have that you don't have to answer, right? You don't have to answer to anybody about how you changed your branding. Okay? You don't have to answer to anybody about why you no longer offer a service that you used to offer. Because I don't offer it anymore. And if you want it, you go get it from somewhere else, right?
Somebody, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
yes,
leave the people with final words of magic, and we will let you be off until your great day.
Final words of magic would be turn your fears into your fuel. You cannot avoid fear. It happens in everyday life. It's a thing, but don't let it consume you. Turn it into fuel, forever evolving and rising. Redefine what that means for you. You don't have to be afraid of fear. Flip it. Make it a flip. Turn it into something that fuels you. And that's the best thing I've done for myself this year is to, anytime I felt fear or felt like that uncomfortable shift right before something amazing happens, that awkward moment, you know what I'm saying? Embrace that and really sit with yourself to figure out, you know, what's about to happen. And just be mentally ready. Do the work for yourself internally, because it doesn't matter what you move or where you move, what new business venture you try to jump into. It doesn't matter. If you're not whole and well within yourself mentally, then none of that other stuff, it may work for a little bit, but there will be no longevity in it. You have to make sure that you are good spiritually, mentally, physically, even physically, emotionally. You have to make sure that you are well-rounded in order for anything outside of you to really manifest to what you're working towards. So when you get scared, when you feel that fear, it's okay. Don't be ashamed of that. Just flip it into fuel. And I promise you, you will be full speed ahead to wherever it is that you are destined to be.
And that's that on that, y'all. Everybody have an amazing Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Drop my, and I will see y'all next week.
She was very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated me.